So today's Saturday, December 2nd. Our Saturdays on site are for CrossFit sport training. We have 5 days a week where the group gets together and trains endurance, swimming, change of direction, barbell cycling, and our Saturday is the actual sport day where they get together, they throw down. This day was our first day all together getting practice in the sport, which is cool for me to kind of get a feel for what the training needs are of the group, what individuals are good at what. It's kind of an experimental process trying to figure out what the best way to lay out the day is, because it's ultra competitive and I want it to be ultra competitive, but at the same time, if it's ultra competitive all the time, we're probably not going to be able to get continual progress and get people prepared and also keep them healthy for long periods of time. So this was our first iteration of the day. The workouts are cool because we get to see it, we get data, we're using that for the group program that we're launching, and I think just in general, it was a really cool experience. So we started with an individual workout. Everyone went 3 rounds for time, 32 wall balls at 20 pounds or 14 pounds to 10 or 9 foot target, 14 bar facing burpees, and then 4 cleans at 250 or 175. So the cleans could be done anyway, so I figured there's going to be some pairing of hip extension and hip flexion with the jumping of the burpees and the power version of the lifts for most people, paired with some unbroken wall ball sets, because in that number, most elite competitors are going to cycle that unbroken in that type of a format. So kind of gives me some insight into probably not the open, probably more of like a regional type format, because the open generally doesn't test that short and high power of a time domain for those athletes. It would be like a 14-minute AMRAP or a 20-minute AMRAP with escalating loads. But a lot of this initial workout selection is literally just for variance and for me to observe and for me to create a scoreboard so each one of the athletes can figure out who's good at what, and we can figure out what pairing of athletes are going to be good for the team. So that went pretty well. There wasn't that much shit talking and competition before that one. I think everyone was pretty serious because we knew we had an individual workout to get done. There was shit talking?
Is this the daily double question?
So no, what's your team?
I'll take 500. It is myself, Mr. William Morad, and Ohlsen, who's probably out riding his bicycle right now.
And who's the team you're going to be versing?
I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He worked for some podcast crew a long time ago. Been to the games in like 1976 or something. Mike McGoldrick. Strong as an ox, but I think he's just getting old. You know, he just needs to get a little bit more shape. Oh, this guy. That guy. Yeah, that one. This what? And then you got the other one over here. Not sure what he's doing. Yeah, he's that was Joseph. And then their third is Lucas Parker, the rogue athlete, the bearded man. Oh, he shaved it. He's a changed man. I said you shaved your beard. Why? Is it an intimidation factor? Do you think from a distance he would look like Jason Statham?
Where is he? Sure.
You being honest?
No. Definitely. He's in all of the what are those movies called? Stolen, Taken. No. Drifter. He drifts things, cars go fast. Vroom vroom.
Yeah, no, he can't pull that off.
We're about to walk up in his yard and piss all over his mailbox.
Brown spots in his yard. His green grass, it's turning brown.
No respect for your elders.
You weren't even around when respect was made. Back in 1976.
When you went to the games?
2013.
So not 1976?
No.
It's going to be like the team series where they saw them win, but what they didn't see was Noah actually doing all the work. It'll probably look something like that today. Quit hiding behind them.
Yeah. Well, it takes 2 people to win, so.
I don't know if most or all is the proper wording there, but.
I'm just gonna do the whole workout. I'm do the cleans really quick.
You have to do everything unbroken.
Okay.
Touch and go. Touch and go.
All right, so we'll go 14 guys in heat 1 and then 6 girls in heat 2. The workout is going to be straightforward. I want everyone to have a judge, and I want like anything that's even close to be no reps. So depth on the wall balls, target height on the wall balls, not standing up fully on the cleans at the top. It's a power clean, so there's no depth requirement there. Burpees, 2-footed takeoff every rep on the bar facing burpee. Give them a count and no rep them anytime the standard isn't met 100% clearly. We're gonna go through the workout, then the women will go, and then we'll come in. I'm gonna brief the workout, give you like 15 to 20 minutes to get warmed up for the next one. Go, same thing. Then we'll brief the next workout, and I'll...
Today, Junior!
Put people in groups at that point. I only have 2 teams set for this, basically, or 3 teams, the Wadapalooza teams. I'm gonna try to get those teams as close as possible together so you guys can get some communication practice. The way I structured this, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but I'm basically going from like most mechanical stress and most mechanical loading and going down and making it more like endurance based as we go. So if your body's jacked up after a workout, pull yourself out or come up to me and talk to me. We can get scaling options. If you feel good, we'll get after it. And that's really it. That workout pretty much went as I thought it would go. I mean, there were 14 dudes on the floor. We took up our entire space. We had 6 females training, and it was a pretty intense workout, pretty good environment, and we moved right from that, brought everyone in, and the rest of the workout for the day was supposed to be lower intensity. So I went from the highest mechanical loading stress with the cleans at 250, and then each subsequent workout I added contraction volume and more of an aerobic input stress and took away some of the mechanical stress. We did a lot of barbell cycling on Wednesday. They just did their first speed and change of direction session the day before, so I figured people's hips and backs might be potentially sore or haven't been taken through different ranges of motion than normal. So I didn't want to beat people up on day one and create a negative association for what those Saturday sessions are going to look like. As we get closer to the Open or closer to regionals or hopefully closer to the games, those sessions will potentially get pretty nasty, but that wasn't my intention to get it started with that way.
We won. Of course. I told you, Mike's old. He's getting old, man.
So we moved on into the second workout, which was teams of 3, same-sex pairs, 60 kettlebell snatch. While you're doing those, the other partner's doing plank holds. Both of them are doing plank holds. And that's a little bit to challenge midline stability, but more just to try to mimic the demands of the sport. That happens a lot in a team format where the non-working pair of people have to do things and have to hold isometric holds or hang onto a pull-up bar or hold onto a deadlift or whatever the case is. So I thought that was an easy way to create a low-stress environment for them to get some kettlebell snatch and also be in a midline stress position before they were going to jump up and do toes to bar. So 60 kettlebell snatch, 160 toes to bar. While they were doing toes to bar, one of the partners had to be hanging and the other one could be resting. And then 450 double unders in sets of 50 unbroken, where if you missed, you had another attempt to do the set. If you missed twice, there's a 1-minute penalty added on to your time, and that's your overall score.
Who's going to win? Noah, Travis, and Will, or Lucas, Mike, and Joey?
Oh, I'm going to go with the underdogs, but I'm not putting money on it.
Wait, who's the underdogs?
Mike, Joey, and Lucas would be the underdogs in that scenario.
Is there any chance you think they win this? Honestly, jokes aside?
No.
Noah, Travis, and Will.
Why?
just think they'll pull out on top?
Probably me, Ryan, and Tyler. I don't know who those guys are.
Yeah, I'm just here for the pizza.
No. 20, 20, 20. 60 total. Hands. Yeah, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. 180 toes to bar. One of the other athletes needs to be hanging while somebody's doing toes to bar. So one athlete during this cycle can rest. No athletes during this are resting. Then 450 double unders. Each athlete is doing sets of 50. So 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. They have to be unbroken. If you miss, you try again. If you miss twice, the next athlete jumps in and you add a minute to your total time at the end as a penalty.
1, 2, and then I'm up. I stay. Now
1, 2, and then you're up. He gets down.
That's what I'm saying. So it'll always vary.
Okay, so it'll
matter.
Okay. Won't matter on this side.
So it goes work, it's work, hang, rest. Work, hang, rest. You just rotate through that way. All right, now we need a kettlebell.
You think your team's gonna win this one?
Yes. I do.
The turnaround to the next one is going to be pretty quick. So once you're done, you're going to bring it in. I'm going to explain what it is and we're going to go. The other thing is when you're doing your planks, don't train to have a saggy, gross midline. I put it in to give you midline stabilization training, and I know that you're all trying always to figure out how to make it more efficient. That's not a movement that you want to fuck around with. Don't train to have your stomach just all sloppy and gross. There's been a running joke that Mike is going to dominate Travis at Wodapalooza, and Travis doesn't really take it seriously. I don't think he really thinks that it's possible that they're going to lose. But Noah had a rope that was way too short for himself. I don't know. He, for whatever reason, got a new rope and forgot how he sized it before. So his rope was like a foot short. So he missed in 2 of his double under sets. So they had a 2-minute penalty and they ended up losing to Mike, which was, it's amazing because now we can publicize that Travis, Noah, and Will got dominated. And I love to publicly shame them because they shame me all the time. So that was a pretty funny, just good to add to the environment. So are you guys the #1 seed going into Wodapalooza now?
Yeah! Need Dylan up here.
It's like a mommy. Raise it, Travis.
No.
Raise it in the air.
I'll raise it. You won. You won.
We did it.
You won.
We did it.
High five.
Where's Lucas?
Wait, y'all beat him?
Yeah, we beat him.
Real quick, just watching and talking with Max about this, especially for those that are going to be a part of the Training Think Tank team or competing for spots on that team, one of the things that just watching through that workout, the synchronization the transition times were really, really bad, right? All the way from getting from the plank to the kettlebell and then on the bar. There are a lot of teams that one guy was way back there or one girl's way back there and they're dropping off and it was a 5 or 8 second transition, or the same thing on the double unders. Someone would do 50 and then be like, oh yeah, you're going. And then that wastes time as well. So start thinking about those things now so that when we get there, you're the team that's fastest in transition. So even if you may not have the best skill at whatever the toe to bar or the kettlebell snatches or whatever it may be, you're able to get on it. Mike had a good strategy you guys used. You want to explain that real quick? I think this is, you don't want to share? Okay, I'll share it with the team.
Well, you guys were victorious.
Yeah, you guys were victorious. So the way that they set it up, do you want to share?
Yeah, for sure. So we did it, you don't want the toe to bar switching?
At regionals, how did you do it? This is, it's
yeah, so at regionals we did where...
So obviously, as we see people who are just getting into our environment doing these workouts, there's always little execution mistakes that people are making on a regular basis. With this specific workout, the toes to bar transitions were just really sloppy. And we made up a ton of time last year as a team taking care of all of those little details. Like how big of a set is everybody going to do, how you're going to transfer to the next athlete, where the next athlete's going to stand. And I think people forget that those details in a 10-minute workout, if there's 20 transitions, if you can improve those transitions by 1 second per transition, that's 20 seconds of just like free time that's available to take off. So after that workout, Brandon had seen a ton of sloppy things. We had teams miscounting their toes to bar, and I mean, I understand when people are going really hard to lose count, but with 3 people, in my mind, I'm like, how can you lose count when you have 3 people doing just 160 reps? And the reps it's not like double unders where they're happening really fast. A toes to bar, it takes like a second and a half to get a rep accomplished. I feel like it should be a relatively normal thing. So Brandon brought everyone in and we talked about how important that was, just to give people constant reminders that those little details and being able to keep more things in your conscious attention span while you're working out hard is a necessary thing for performance in the sport.
So there's no point in taking breaks when you're on a team.
All right. Teams. Travis, Mike, just so he could rub his win in. Travis and Mike are together with Brandy. Yeah.
On the run?
Yeah.
One here for the run?
The final workout was teams of 4, male, female. 800-meter run, 100 synchro air squats, row 200 cals, splitting the cals 23 and 17, male and female. So a male and a female both did 3 sets and 2 sets, and then when they moved on to the assault bike, which I'll get to, they swapped who did 3 sets and who did 2 sets. So run 800 meters, 100 air squats synchro, row 200 cals, 100 air squats synchro, assault bike 200 cals, 100 air squats synchro, and then run 800 meters. The intention of this was mostly just communication and being part of a team. So having to run the 800 and wait on the last person to get in to do the air squats or to finalize your time is just an important thing for the fastest person to realize that a team is limited by the people behind you, and it's important to encourage them and keep your pace at a level that you're not going to drive them into a level of fatigue that they can't keep up with in the end of the workout. That the air squat cadence has to be according to the person that's going to be most limited there. So I paired some tall athletes with some short athletes so they could get a feel for what that would look like, transitioning from and putting them on the assault bikes and having somebody, if they're taller and shorter, figure out where the compromise point is so that they both could express power on it, because transitioning and fixing the seat height wouldn't make sense in a competition-based setting. Get a feel for what type of output other athletes and games athletes are able to do in those rest recovery-based formats. I didn't anticipate that would be super intense of a session, other than just it's a lot of contraction volume. 300 air squats and then all the cyclical stuff definitely adds to the legs and adds to the stress on the legs, but that is something that you have to be able to do relatively easy in CrossFit is accumulate a ton of contraction volume. So the easiest way to do that over the course of building throughout a year is to just start the loading at a really low level. So air squats and your body weight is an easy way to build contraction volume now, so that when we start to prepare for the games, if it's wall balls or thrusters or heavier squat cleans, their legs are conditioned incrementally to be able to handle the contraction volume at heavier and heavier load. This year's going to be pretty fun. I mean, it's going to be a massive challenge. I think figuring out how to write workouts for entire groups of people that get and elicit adaptations that make the entire group better is a massive undertaking. But the positive is that there was just so much banter. The overall stress of the session was just so much less because people were laughing, they were having a good time. There was a leaderboard. People weren't taking it seriously because when they lost, it was just kind of like rubbed in, and people were helping one another. So I feel like we made the right decision with regards to what we're building here, and really I can't lose in this scenario. No matter how it happened, no matter what the outcome is at the end of the year, we definitely took a step in the right direction with regards to what the environment is doing to the community that we could build on site. I think the most important thing that I learned throughout the team training session is that Mike McGoldrick is potentially a better athlete than Travis Mayer.